guys. So this is the first, or my first, guard daily chart review. As I mentioned in the post yesterday, we're happy to do these because fundamentally we're full-time traders. I do this anyway, every morning, so it makes no difference. In fact, it can help me actually, because I'm talking about the setups and the potential price action for the day, as opposed to just sitting there thinking about it. So that can always add some confirmation, can't it, when you talk out loud? So happy to do them. I hope you get something from them. Obviously, I trade my way. Everybody has their own styles. We're certainly not producing these, myself, Simon and David, because we are trying to impose any of our strategies, but support and resistance levels, various price action into those levels with divergences, moving averages, Simon's fibs, for example, can all just be another string to all of our bows, actually, and just something to be aware of. So so I hope you get something from them. So as I said, no bother at all, just to go through and look at the charts as I would on any normal morning. So without further ado, because you all know I can waffle on, we'll be here for an hour. So Ftse daily chart, Friday sell-off, not massive, but significant. But back into, from a price action point of view, back into the 50 MA. Okay, so we broke the 200, which was quite flat, off of the 4-hour divergent zone that we spoke about last week. A few of us did anyway, and we pulled back into the daily support. No surprise that it held on the 50. I think I even posted that on Friday that would be tested, and so far it has held. High frame moving averages, as I'm sure many of you are aware, they will hold or be tested, and then it's whether they look for a retest and a break. So that's my daily overview in terms of the support area. I did take a trade off of there, actually, early doors, Monday morning. Only took 20 pips or so. Wrong time of day to sit and hold it and watch. But I did test that area because there was a 5-minute. Let's have a look at the 5-minute chart. There was a 5-minute divergent zone into this area here, off your oscillators and off your MACD here. So I use the MACD. This is the awesome, the RSI as well. Doesn't matter which ones you use. So 5 minutes divergent zone there into what was, picture the chart we've just looked at, the 50 MA was just there with the 200 above. So we've tested that support zone. Right, so that's kind of irrelevant now. So looking at price action from an intraday point of view, I'm looking at the 1-minute chart, the 5, the 15, the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. We've already looked at the daily, so let's go down into the low frames, which is where I make my money. So we've got bounce out of high frame support, as we just looked at, and we've just consolidated essentially with a slow grind up from yesterday. Obviously there wouldn't have been any volume, or low volume to say the least. 5-minute chart again, we've broken through the MAs, so we've got a 1-minute range with a weak 5-minute support, looking at a really decent 200 MA resistance. And I've said before, the angle of the MAs is important. They create more strength. So that's going to take some beating this morning. However, it is off of the backdrop of a turn in 50. So I call this a pinch. So we've got a 15-minute pinch here, which has got 1 minute range, 5-minute MA support. We've got 50 MA support on the 15-min chart, pinching against strong 200 MA resistance there. So there's no surprise from a price action point of view why that's just stopped there waiting for the bell, because that there is what I call a pinch. So I'll then go up a frame and look at the hour, 1 hour, and lo and behold, it's hit resistance here from a fanned MA setup, 200 pointing down, a fair distance away is the 50. This becomes my resistance zone in here. So we are low frame support into now what is mid frame resistance. So this chart still has plenty of price pressure before the bell. So then we just go up one more to the 4 hour. So if we just picture what we've just seen, the low frame 1 and 5 minute support, 15-minute pinch, 1 out at 15-minute pinch into 200 MA resistance. We've got a turning 50. So we've got the 1 hour would be here. Resistance needs to be broken. If you look at the price action when it comes to the 4 hour chart, and obviously this is a longer time frame for it to play out. If it can break the 1 hour, then the 50 will be a big barrier. Okay, so we're either looking at a hold of resistance on the 1 hour chart here, and we'll, maybe even a small test of it, maybe a small break and a pullback, looking for a lower low, which in turn would put you into a 1 hour divergence zone. Yeah, the other scenario is it holds, creates a little bit of a small chunk of consolidation excuse me, on the lower frames, and then looks to flatten these out. However, if you've listened to me waffling on before, the way I look at MAs is when they're aggressive like this, they are quite hard to break. So keeping in mind today, and we'll review it later, I'll review it later and maybe do another small video while, like I say, we're getting used to posting a few. So I'm looking at today testing the higher mid to higher range resistance levels with shorts on the lower frames, but I'll be looking for my shorts using divergences into the mid to higher frame resistance levels that would be around here somewhere. And if we do have a pullback from there, bear in mind I'll be day trading stroke scalping, so I'll happily take divergences back to different support levels. Again, we'll look at those another time. This is just a review of today's chart, or this morning's chart. So I'll be looking for shorts into the resistance areas for scalps and or slightly larger TP trades. And then if we reject the resistance that we're seeing now off of the bell, even if we spike into it a little bit and then have a pullback, what will happen is we'll have another test of the daily support, which again is quite strong. And again, I'll be looking for similar setups like this. Let's just look at that quickly. We've had our 5 minute divergence test off of the daily support. Let's look at this. Let's look at this one. So this is the 15 minute. So that's interesting. So 15 minutes. So there's your low. If we did get a retest, so if we get any kind of resistance here off of the 200, and then what will be, and this is the 200 on the 15, same place as the 50 on the 1 hour. If we get any look up into here in a rejection with a lower high in this resistance area, then if we do come down and test the daily, you might start looking for longs off of what will be a 15-minute divergent zone off of the support as well, similar to what happened with the 5-minute divergent zone yesterday, and just to see what happens with the hour. And that's interesting actually as well, because if we do reject this resistance zone and we do come down and produce a lower low off of the daily support, you'd also be looking at a 1 hour divergent zone as well. So how I trade those is I would look for 1 minute divergences within a 5 minute divergent zone, which would then be extra confirmation for me, because we'd actually be within a 15 minute and a 1 hour. So I'm not suggesting for a second that people just listen to me and just slap a load of money on long and start trying to swing for all-time highs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to look at the various areas. That's how I trade. I'll be looking for longs on lower lows within divergence areas, aware that these resistance areas could very, very well hold, could be tested a little bit deeper with me trading shorts off of the resistance using divergences and turning MAs, etc., which we'll look at another time. And then last tip, when you've got a fair distance between the 50 and 200 on the slightly longer chart. So this is an hour. Let's look at the 4. Yeah, the 4 hasn't crossed, obviously. So as I said, resistance would be in here. That would match the 100 MA on the 1 hour. Sorry, I told you I waffle. What I do is I break these resistance zones to give me another marker. So this 100 MA, that is the 100, isn't it? Yeah. This 100 MA wouldn't normally be on my chart if it's a bit tighter. But because we've had a cross and there's a decent fan there, there's a decent gap, which creates a real decent resistance area. So this could easily test the 50 and then look for another marker. So I drop that on there as another gauge, because if you do look here, actually, as an example, excuse me, I use MAs as fluid support and resistance, giving me, when they fanned out like this, 3 markers. So if one was inclined, and I'm again not suggesting you do it, you might want to test this area off of a 1 minute divergence off the bell. If that happens with a smaller size, adding on your next resistance level, adding on your following resistance level, if indeed the price was to keep testing it higher. That's ways of building into the trade. If for example the resistance levels, you can test a resistance level, but if it doesn't resist it, if it doesn't reject it, I wouldn't necessarily panic. These are scenarios where you can use the multi-level resistance, but again, that's for another day. We're just looking at the price action. So as I said, I don't know how long that video was. It's my first one. Oh dear, they're going to have to take some time to probably make these slicker. But look, that's how I'm looking at them now. I know Simon's done a couple, so maybe you'll see some fib stuff as well. So anyway, I'll see you on Discord. Thanks very much indeed. Have a good day.